Hi everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Today we're taking a look at Urban Sketchers. This game right here from publisher DMZ, in which you are going to be traveling the world, gathering ideas for sketchbook, sketching those sketchbooks, and then publishing them to get that sweet, sweet cash. Also fame, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
You want to be
It's
a
all
famous
about the cash.
sketchbook artist. Let me go ahead and show you what the game looks like. This is a pretty, I don't know, I'd say like a medium weight Euro style game, so there's a lot to go over here, okay? It's a lot of an explanation. So let me dive into that, I'll show you, we'll come on back. Here we've got the game set up and ready to begin with a few distinct areas. We also got a player area right here, of which I'll only show you one. But everybody would have their own board with their own areas so that they can sketch their sketchbooks. So the idea of the game here is that we are going to be rolling and drafting these dice, placing them into these locations over here, gaining abilities, gaining money, gaining resources, which are these right here, gathering new pages for our sketchbook, and then sketching them into those sketchbooks here, and ultimately publishing those sketchbooks for fun and profit. So that is what's going to be happening. The game is going to be over when a certain number of sketchbooks have been published among all the players. For a 3-player game, which is what I'm simulating here, that means 9 sketchbooks. You see the 3 little people right there. 9 sketchbooks have been published among everyone. Then the game is going to be over, and whoever has the most points, of course, is the winner of the game. So here is what a round is going to look like. The first thing we do is rolling the dice. Whoever's the start player, they have this palette token here. They're going to take all of these dice, and the pool is based on the player count. They're going to roll those dice, and they are going to make those dice available to everyone. And then starting from that player and going around the table, each player will take one of the dice, place it out here, and do the corresponding action. We're going to do that twice around the table, leaving one single die left over. And then once that's done, we go to the end of the round stuff, okay? So I'm going to explain to you the places where you can put dice and the things they do. We are going to start with this area up here at the top, where every player has their own column. You'll notice I am that player there, as seen on my board. And so any die I choose to take for these 4 actions, I would put into my own column, okay? There's also this area down here, which is going to get you these resources. That works a little bit differently. So let's talk about these 4 up here. I'm going to start with the one at the bottom and work my way up, okay? So the bottom one here is how you make money. You're going to need money for a few different things, mainly for collecting new pages and for sketching faster than 1 a turn, all right? So to place here, you need to play a green die or a white die into that location. You might have a cost associated with that placement, and then you're going to collect money equal to 4 plus the number of sketchbooks you've already published. So at the beginning of the game, 4, all right? And so that's going to go something like this. I put that there. The pips are ignored if the die matches the color where it can go, okay? And then I am going to get that money. And this die, again, could have been anything. Now, let's say I do indeed do that. Goes to the next player, and they're going to place this one here. The green's gone. I've already taken it. So that player wants to get some money as well. Now, we are going to, because this is not natural green, we are going to have to check if they owe me, the one who did use the natural die, any money. And the difference between these 2 pips, or faces I should say, is how much money they have to give me. So in this case, they have to give me $1 and then they'll make 4 or whatever it is they're making. Now, if there is no green here and the green is not available for them to place there because it's already been used down here, then they'll compare to that die, which ends up there randomly at the beginning of the game. In this case, again, they owe 1, but that one goes to the bank. They just throw that back out here, okay? If it's someone else's die that got placed, then you owe them. And that's true for all of these, by the way, right? So if I do this and I do that corresponding action, somebody later comes along and wants to do that action, well, they owe me the difference, which is $2. So just be aware that that's going to be an ongoing concept for the entirety of all those actions. The bottom one, as I said, gets you money. The next one lets you move around these locations and pick up more pages to hold in your hand so that you can later paint them or sketch them out here. You begin somewhere on here with which you choose at the beginning of the game, so I'm right here. And then when you choose to do that, you can pick up a card from where you are and you can move to an adjacent location, and every one of those things costs you $1 here. So I could do 1, 2, 3, and pick this one up for 4. I would pay $4. I have these two in my hand. We replace them from the deck there, and it is the next player's turn. Okay, that's how you get new cards. Next up here, we've got sketching. To sketch, you are going to be playing the cards that are already in your hand into one of your 2 sketchbooks. The resources at the top are the cost for that thing. So these across the top right here. So I could sketch this one right here by paying that, paying this, and paying this. If I give those 3 up, I put this into play. If I want to sketch some more during this same action, I can do that, but I have to pay for that. And it shows you right here how much you pay. The second card you play into the same sketchbook is $1, then 2, then 3, and so on. I could put 1 here and 1 here. That's okay. But if I want to keep painting or sketching into the same one, it's going to cost me something. Also, there's a little white bar down the side here which gives you bonuses and various things you check for. This symbol here in the white bar is part of this card's cost, but it's also a discount for any further cards. And so, if I have this card sketched first, I want to sketch another one, let's say, and I want it to be this one, then I could spend $1, because I need to sketch another one. I'm going to put this out here. It's going to cost me the gray, the yellow, and the pink, though I don't have to pay the yellow anymore because I have a discount there. So it's just the gray and the pink. I go to pay the gray, I pay the gray, the pink, I don't have that. Oh no, there are ways around that, but we're going to come back to that. Let's just pretend I did have that pink, okay? So that's the idea with sketching these things out. You always want to leave that bar there open so that you see the things that you are accumulating. The book, your sketchbook, can be a max of 6, as it lets you know right there. Also, if you have a card that has these symbols down here, you'll be getting some bonuses when you publish that thing. And if you have this symbol up here, when you sketch it, if you have any of those, you are going to get a little bonus for that. You gain one of these down here. So perhaps I'll take this one, I'll put it in one of these 3 spots. That is now also a discount, or a bonus if you would, of that symbol to any further sketches into the same one. Perhaps instead, I'll take one of these. Maybe I'll take that one. That one gets me money, more money I should say, when I publish that sketchbook. I'm going to get another $4 above and beyond what I'm going to get anyway. So we're going to leave this like this for some examples in a moment here when I publish, which we're going to jump to right now. So that is sketching. And then the final one up here is how you publish that sketchbook. Before I get to that, let me jump to the bottom, because this down here is how you get the resources you are spending to publish, or to paint, I should say, to sketch these sketchbooks. They're all right here. That any die can go into these, and you always are going to get the difference in the 2 pips in resources. So if it's my turn, I'm going to play that in there. I get the difference between these 2. I get 5 goodies. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I keep them on my board here, which does have a limit of 12 that I can carry from round to round. So that is how you get new stuff to keep sketching. Jumping back up to the top, we're going to be publishing now. So when I choose to do that, I am going to run through a few steps listed at the bottom of my board here for my rewards. So the very first one is I'm going to get money equal to the number of cards that I am publishing. Again, it's a max of 6. It lets me know right here. So it's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be getting $3. I have this also, so I'm getting another 4. That's going to be 7. 5, 6, 7. Fantastic. Next up, it says I advance on this track equal to the longest run I have of the same continent in a row. I have 3 in a row. So this is going to move up 1, 2, 3. That number there, you see, starts to make bigger and bigger jumps later on the track. That's going to become victory points for me. But also, as you advance on this track, you are unlocking ongoing bonuses and sometimes refreshing bonuses that you are going to be taking. The ongoing bonuses come from right here, the top row. And they are various things that will be ongoing. They're forever on from that moment on. Things such as this one that says every time you get resources, you get +1. So I would have taken 6 instead of 5 like I just did. You've got some that say, well, when you get money, you always get more money. You always get +3. And you always move around with a discount on this board, and so on. If you would earn another one, you could take another one, or you could even flip over one of these, and it gets a little bit better on the other side, okay? Like getting 2 extras or an extra bonus there for the money. So there you go. Those are the things you can choose to do there, moving up on that track. Now, the other ones, anytime you see this symbol here, that symbol there with sort of the arrow coming around, that lets you refresh one of these 3 built-in bonuses. All the players have the same one, and these are going to allow you to take a bonus, but then you flip this face down and it's gone until you encounter that symbol there, and then you can flip one of them back up. Now, a couple of other things that happen when you are publishing here. I've already gotten myself the bonus there for the continents being in a row. Then I'm going to get victory points based on how long of a sketchbook I'm publishing. 3 cards in this case means I'm going to get 4 victory points. So I'll move up here to the 4. Next up, I'm going to make sure I push this up 1 because I've published 1 sketchbook. And I'm also going to move this Universal Sketchbooks Published token. Everyone moves this one. That's how you know when 9 have been published, because this one will sort of get moved by everybody and eventually make its way down here, triggering the end of the game. You'll also notice I'm getting a bonus there, letting me refresh one of these. All right, and then lastly, you are going to discard this, and you are going to discard these 2 little bonuses, giving you a fresh new place in which to start sketching. By the way, I've only shown you myself sketching in here, but you can be working on both simultaneously. You do not have to work on one at a time. So there you go. Those are the things that you can do. A couple of other things. I think I might have skipped it, actually. On the sketchbook here, at the bottom, there's a little symbol. Whenever you publish that, you're also going to get those little symbols there. They are going to be some victory points at the end of the game. You'll see them on various cards out here, like this one gives you 2 of the maracas. This one has the monuments, okay? These, at the end of the game, you get some points, but also in-game, you can spend them to take some bonuses and abilities. End of the game, you are going to have some other bonuses that trigger as well. They're listed right here. But that's generally the flow. To give you a big picture once again, you roll the dice. We draft 2 each, going around the table twice. So single die and then another single die. At the end of that round, we check if the game is over. If it's not, the next player is given this token. They take all the dice, they roll all the dice, and we draft again until the game is over. So there you go. That should give you an idea of what is going on. Let's go ahead and go back up top. I wasn't sure what to expect from this game when I first saw it. The cover certainly attracted me, and I like the idea of the theme here, but realizing what the game was and then playing the game definitely floored me and surprised me with how much there was here.
I feel like there's 3 very different almost phases you kind of go through. What you see and what you expect, what you think it's going to be after the teach, and then what it is after you play it. I feel like I had 3 different expectations at each of those points.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a lot. There's a journey. This game will take you on a journey. Whether you end up liking it or not, it'll take you on a journey because it's just not what it looks like it'll be. You know, the game has a lot of moving parts. And I like the way they come together. I like the mechanisms here. I like the dice drafting as sort of the main mechanism of the game. And it does that thing in an interesting and clever way.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things happening, and so that's really the kind of disconnect between the teach and the gameplay. Is as it's teaching, it's like, oh, one more thing, oh, another thing to, okay, that's another little. It feels like a whole lot of little rules, but I think it plays a lot smoother than it teaches. Yeah. And each of those little things come together in a really neat way. I really like, you talk about the dice mechanism of your action selection. I think that has a great tension to it.
Yep.
As you're kind of, I want to do these 3 things, how can I do it, as opposed to what dice they might snipe from me, if you will, so you don't have the opportunity. So it feels very tactical in that way, but I really love the travel action. That was my favorite. I love going around that. It's not a rondelle, I guess, but that travel action and getting your cards and trying to strategically plan your next couple turns in a row, or at least your publication. Yeah,
every time you place a die, except for maybe making money, they're all big actions. Mm-hmm. Like you go and travel and you're like, okay, I'm going to spend $7 getting like one card, move, one card, move, one card. You know what I mean? That's each of those things is a $1 you're spending. So it's like everything's a big action. When you publish a book, a sketchbook, there's all these things you need to do, that's going to give you money. It's going to advance you on this track. You get bonuses. You get this. You get that. So the game has big swings. The flip side of that is, unfortunately, that when you play with a higher player count, you're going to be waiting around for a while because it has big turns.
And you can't plan ahead because you don't know what dice are going to be available, what cards are going to be available. I mean, if you're like, I need to take money, it doesn't matter what happens, something like that. But for the most part, you're just waiting. And I would say this game is a 2 or 3 player game only. I would not play it again at 4.
It definitely will invite a lot of analysis paralysis, because you really do need to be very careful about what you do. When you take resources, for example, you're planning those resources to spill over multiple cards.
Right.
You might be planning 3 or 4, maybe more sketches in your hand, and it's like, well, I have this discount there, so I don't need that color. And this one also gives me this, so I don't need that. Oh, I can't take that continent, so I'm not going to play this one. Let me put it in the back of my hand. There's a lot of little things to decide, right?
And if there's, 5 to 7 minutes between your turns, yes, maybe you thought that through, but then you either forget about it by the time it's your turn and you have to rethink it, or the board state has changed to where it's like, well, that's no longer relevant.
Yeah.
That die isn't available, that card's not available, whatever it may be. So so to me, 4 player, I don't think there's anything gained. There's only things lost in playing at 4 players.
And I agree with that, and I think that's my biggest weakness for this game is the player count at that higher player number, because the reason I say that's my biggest negative is because the rest of the game I really, really like. Mm-hmm. This is a game that just works for me. I love everything that's going on. I like the setting quite a bit, but I love the drip feed of bonuses, constant little things I'm getting from everywhere. Everything is a decision, a choice, an interesting moment. Even just having to sometimes put a die out and then you have to pay some other jerk because they went there first. Even that feels really interesting.
It does, yeah. Especially because money is so tight in this game. You really do have to plan those dollars.
Everything feels very tight. Everything feels interesting and balanced. There's never this isn't exciting or interesting kind of moment. I like that every moment is something neat is happening. Yeah. And you usually have cool bonuses available to you, and you'll do a thing, you're like, haha, I get to do this. And I move up on this track, and hey, look at that, I turned that bonus on again. Yeah. Oh my goodness, and now I have this ongoing ability. You just get better. In this game, you're constantly getting better at stuff.
I think to a point, yes. I think this game is one that has multiple peaks, and that peak being each time you take that publicize action and you publish your sketchbook, right? And so I think that feels really cool because by that point you have built up, you have these bonuses in there, you're seeing yourself going up on the tracks. That feels really good. But there is a little bit of once you do that, you are starting back over again.
You carry a few bonuses over, like the ongoing ones, but you're right. It does have these, small. You're right that it has these peaks. And there's not that many of them, actually, because the game, you'll maybe do, 3 or 4 sketchbooks that you publish. But it feels good. Those ramp-up effects, that feeling of like, yes, here we go. That's pretty good stuff. I like this game a lot. I think it brings some interesting stuff. But yes, it has some drawbacks. The cadence of those not publishing, but the time it takes to build up a whole thing and then you wipe it away and feel a little empty inside.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yay, that was cool. Back to the beginning. It's kind of like going from middle school to high school. You go from elementary school to middle school and you're like, I'm the big king, 5th grade, 6th grade, then you're 8th grade, then 9th grade. That's kind of what this feels like. It's not emotional.
That's a good way to put it, actually. It's exactly what that's like. It has that and then the player count thing. Both of those things are going to pull it down for me a little bit. But this was one of my favorite games from last year. This came out last year, and I've really enjoyed it. So I'm ready to talk about final thoughts here if you're ready.
I am as well. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to?
Whatever you want.
I'll
I always
jump in
feel
there.
like I pick who goes first.
All right,
You pick.
I'll go first. I'm going to come in at a 7.5. I really enjoy a lot that's happening in this game. I find it fun to sequence your turn together, to plan those out, to understand that I need to take this action over here before I take this action, and then I can complete this. And then if I sketch, it's this much more points. You really feel like it's turn economy and a great mix of strategy with tactical turns. What can I do and what's my most efficient way to do that? I love the puzzle of this. I do think that the game gets in its own way at higher player counts. Even at 3, I find it a little long. So it almost overstays its welcome in every play, and that's kind of what brings it down for me. But I enjoy the mechanisms of this game a lot, and it's one that I would not just recommend, but almost always happily get to the table. So I had a lot of fun with this. I'm a 7.5.
I'm going to come in a little bit higher than an 8, actually. I really enjoyed. I think it's a great, well put together game. We already talked about a couple of things that are dragging it down for me a bit, but it's one I also enjoy very much at 2, and enjoy, I think, at 3. 4, I probably won't play again at 4. There's too many good 4-player games, but I'm very charmed by what this game does mechanically and thematically, and charmed by the amount of mechanisms it brings together that congeal and hit. Everything works. There's no one part that I'm like, I wish they'd trimmed that out.
Right.
No, I like everything that it does. So, yeah, for me, this is going to be an 8 out of 10. 7.5, 8, that means it's going to get a seal of approval from us here at the Dice Tower. That is Urban Sketchers, everybody. Check this one out. But for now, we're going to get out of here. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Enjoy sketching and publishing.
Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vassell, and I hope you enjoyed this video.